Let's go to the Negro, guys. I want to see what is associated with the Negro, okay? So here's the Negro right here. Number 7, colored person, black, blackamoor, Jim Crow, slang in the US, darky, Sambo, ebony, the image of God. Okay guys, let's talk about the description of people in the Bible, okay? Because the Bible does give us a lot of scripture that describe certain people, describes the Israelites, describes the angels, describes Christ, and guess what guys? Even God himself, okay? The Most High is described in the Bible, and it's very important that people realize that, yeah, you can very easily just go into the scripture and show people what certain individuals look like in the Bible, guys, okay? And that's what this video is about. So let us begin with a description of a few Israelite people. Okay, so let's start with King Solomon. I'm going to the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, just verse 5, guys. Okay, so let's read verse 1 first, so we'll know who is speaking here in this particular book. Okay, so Songs of Solomon chapter 1 verse 1 says this: the Songs of Solomon, which is Solomon's. Telling you that what? Solomon is singing songs, and the song you're about to hear is the Song of Solomon. So let's go to verse 5 now. I am black but comely, O you daughters of Jerusalem, as the tent of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Verse 6 as well. Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun has looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of vineyards, but my own vineyard have I not kept. So in 2 verses here, Solomon is singing, guys. Okay, this is a song. Solomon is singing, and he's telling the daughters of Jerusalem, I am black but comely. Okay, very important stuff. The reason why I'm letting you guys know that it's Solomon that's singing is because I have seen some books that try to suggest that it's not actually Solomon that is singing here, that it's some other woman that is singing, and that is just not true, guys. Okay, even the book itself in verse 1 tells you whose song this is. Okay, Solomon is singing, and he's telling you here that he's black. A very important thing here. What happens to a Caucasian? Let's assume for a second that Solomon here is a Caucasian. What happens to a Caucasian skin when they are exposed to the sun?
My word! An Indian! Maggie, sure is hot in India. Say, maybe you can tell me. What is that ball of fire in the sky?
Sun?
Sun. Interesting. Yes, how peculiar. I'm sure glad we don't have one of those in England.
This is what happens to their skin, okay? Their skin does not turn black, people. It turns red because they don't have the melanin to protect them from the negative effects of the sun, guys. But those of us who are melanated people, whether we are Negroes or even Hamites, we know that when the sun touches us, the areas that is exposed to the sun over time gets darker. Why? Because melanin does its work. Melanin exists in our skin to protect us from the negative effects of the sun, guys. That's what melanin is for. The darker you are, the more protection you have from the sun, okay? So those of you who are actually dark skinned, you should actually be very proud of your dark skin. That dark skin actually protects you more from the sun than the skin color of a lighter skinned Negro or even a Caucasian person, straight up, guys, okay? The darker your skin is, the stronger your skin is. So now we're moving on to Job, okay? Job chapter 30 verse 30. Some people suggest that Job was not an Israelite. Personally, I haven't seen anything to support that idea that Job isn't an Israelite, guys. Everyone in this book, with the exception of those who you might read about in the book of Genesis, you know, like Isaac, Abraham, and these people who preceded the Israelite race, everybody else is an Israelite in the Bible, guys, okay? Everybody else. So Job chapter 30 verse 30. Let's see what it says. Now this is Job speaking right here, guys, and here is what he says about his skin. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat. Once again, we have another man telling you that, hey, his skin is black upon him, and he's even telling you why. He's exposed to the environment. And as we know, those of us who are melanated, when we are exposed to the sun, melanin increases in our skin to protect us from the adverse effects of the sun, guys. Okay, that's why Job is telling you here his skin is black. He's getting blacker because he's exposed to the environment. Okay, and as I said before, Caucasian skin does not get black in the sun. No, okay, they get red. They have to use other things, synthetic things, to give themselves that tan skin that you usually see them have in the movies. Okay, naturally the sun cannot do that for them. The sun burns their skin. That's what it does, guys. Okay, very powerful stuff. Okay, so let's go to the book of Lamentations. Lamentations is a powerful one. Lamentations chapter 4 verse 8. Babylon just came, Judah has been sacked, has been destroyed. This is what Jeremiah has to tell us now about the people. Okay, so listen to this, guys. We're reading Lamentations chapter 4 verse 8. These are the Jews being described. Their visage is blacker than coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaves to their bones. It is withered. It is become like a stick. Jeremiah is telling you that what? The Israelites, their visage, their face is blacker. Visage is a person's face or how the person looks. Blacker than coal. Okay, this is describing the Israelites to have been what? Black people. We don't know white people, guys. Very important stuff. Let's move into the more spiritual characters. Okay, let's start off with an angel, guys. So let's go to the book of Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 13. Let's see what it says. As for the likeness of the living creatures that's being described here, they are angels, guys. Okay, so as for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire and like the appearance of lamps, and it went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. Woof. Okay, so very important line I want you guys to hear here. Their appearance was like burning coals of fire. Now here's my question to you. What does coal look like? Coals are a black substance, guys. Okay, very, very black substance. Now I want you to imagine this coal covered in fire. That is what the appearance of the angels look like. Okay, black creatures surrounded by fire. Very powerful scripture right here, guys. Let's go to Christ now. I think it's best we escalate from the men to the angels to Christ, and then finally we'll deal with the Most High himself. So let's see what Christ looks like. Now let's see Revelations. Okay, this is a very popular one about Christ. Revelations 1:14. This is Christ being described here, guys. His head and his hair were white like wool. So Christ had white woolly hair. Okay, even though it says it a little bit strangely here, what he's actually trying to say is that yes, Christ had white hair, but the hair texture itself was what? Woolly, guys. Woolly, like God's favorite animal, the sheep, guys. And the same kind of hair that the Negro race has. If you don't do a quick Google search right now for woolly hair, you will see it's the hair texture of the Negro, guys. Okay, woolly hair. That's the kind of hair that Christ has. Okay, so let's keep going. His hair and his head were white like wool, as white as snow. Okay, very white hair. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. Now listen to this, guys. His feet were like unto fine brass, as if brass burned in a furnace. Now if you guys have ever seen brass or you've ever seen a brass bullet, for example, there's a video that I have that shows some kids burning a brass bullet. I'll play it on the screen so you guys can see
the burning bullets. Tilt it over and then set it. Dude, I wouldn't do that.
This game's more cleaner.
Fuck the heck.
No, come on.
That's fucked up, dude. I hope the camera got that. I didn't mean
it did. It's been recording the whole fucking time.
Dude, I didn't mean to do that.
Now your fucking brass is burning.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's so retarded, dude. I can't believe I got you, dude. I'm sorry.
You can clearly see that this brass bullet turned brown. Okay, in fact it turned black eventually when it was burned, guys. Okay, so they're telling you that Christ's feet look like this. Okay, as if it was fine brass, as if it burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. Okay, so that's going into how he speaks. But very important that you see these scriptures that are describing these characters in the Bible. They are not describing white people, guys. They are describing people that are black or brown to black people. Okay, so we've seen a few scriptures on Christ. Now let's move on to the Most High. His image, let's be honest, is the most important image in the entire book. Okay, so let's go back to Daniel. Daniel tells us something about God, right? Let's go to Daniel chapter 7. We're going to read verse 9. Very powerful stuff here, guys. Okay, so this is God, the Most High, the Ancient of Days. Listen to what it says. I beheld until the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. That's God right here that's sitting, okay? Whose garment was white as snow. He was wearing a white garment. And the hair of his head was like what? Pure wool. Okay, the same texture of hair of the Negro race. Very important stuff. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels were as burning fire. So the important point here, guys, I want you guys to see is that the hair of God's head was like what? Pure wool. Have you guys ever seen wool? Just look at any sheep. That is wool, guys. Look at any Negro. That is woolly hair that you see on top of their head, guys. Okay, so they're telling you that yes, God and the Negro have the same texture of hair. Okay, but very important that you see that the Most High, depicted right here in Daniel 7 verse 9, had woolly hair. Okay, never forget that. Not straight hair like you see in all these stupid Khazarian movies. Now let's go to a very important one. We're going to go back to Revelations. Okay, let's see what John the Revelator has for us. Okay, we're going to read chapter 4 verse 2 to 3. Okay, and immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on that throne. That is God right there, guys. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone, and there was a rainbow round about the throne in the sight like unto an emerald. Okay, so the point here in this scripture is that he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. That is too important for us to ignore, guys. Okay, I want you guys to do a quick Google search right now. What does a jasper and a sardine stone look like? Well, when you do a good search, the results will show you the color of the Negro race, guys. That is what is being depicted right here. Most people have been reading the Bible all their lives, but they've never made this simple connection, okay? That the Negro race look like their Father in heaven. They look like God, okay? In fact, I want you guys to see one book. Okay, this book is going to show you guys what the world knows, but they don't want you to know about the Negro race. Okay, so here's the book. Here we are on this book. It's titled Roget's International Thesaurus. This is the 3rd edition of the book. Okay, so this book is actually a dictionary. Obviously, a thesaurus is a dictionary. I want you guys to see a definition in this book that blew my mind. Okay, and I hope it blows your mind too. Okay, so here we are on this page. This is page 275. We are under mankind. As you can see, mankind right here. Below mankind, we are within peoples. Okay, so we're actually on 417 people. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's see what it says. Let's see if it gives us any information that, you know, we should want to learn. All right, let's see. So within this section that says 417, we're going to read about the different races of people. I'm going to see what the scholars associate with every different racial group. Okay, so let's start with this one. Number 1, people, races, culture, nationalities, ethnic groups. Now let's see what it says under Caucasian. Listen to this, guys. Caucasian, white man. Pale face. These are the different names that they associate with the Caucasian race, right? Pale face, the Aryan race, the Indo-Iranian race, the Nordic race, Scandinavian race, Norseman, Norman, Viking, Norse, Hindu, Indian, Semitic, Jew, Jewess, Hebrew, Israelites. They've put all these things associated with the Caucasian race, guys, okay? Jewry, Arab, Arabian, whatever, Gypsy, even the Gypsy is part of this, okay? Romani, Bohemian, okay? So let's go to the next page now, guys, okay? The same thing if you look at the Mongolian race, you see all the different words that are associated with these races, guys. Mongol, Mongoloid, Yellow Man. If you go to Indian, you will see American Indian, Amerindian, Red Indian, all this stuff. Let's go to the Negro, guys. I want to see what is associated with the Negro, okay? So here's the Negro right here. Number 7, colored person, black, blackamoor, Jim Crow, slang in the US. Darky, Sambo, Ebony, the image of God, okay? Cut in ebony, but yes, the image of God. Okay, that is what is associated with who? With the Negro. Very important stuff, okay? They know that the Negroes are the true depiction of God. God looks like the Negro, okay? Of all the portion of mankind that God made, the Negroes, God made them for himself. Why? He made the Negro to look like him. The Negro is the image of God. You see it right here, guys. There are so many books and records that reveal little pieces of the truth, okay? They don't want the Negroes to know that they look like God. They don't want the Negroes to know that they themselves are the image of God. God looks like the Negro. God, if God was to appear on the earth today, if Christ was to appear, if Abraham, Isaac, all these epic people in the Bible like Moses and others appear on the earth today, you would not call them Caucasians. You would not call them Middle Easterns. You would call them Negroes. Some disrespectful people might even call them niggers and other things, guys, okay? But yeah, the image of God is the Negro. The Negro is the image of God. Very powerful stuff, guys. Very, very powerful indeed.